What's up, everybody? I just want to make a video just talking about life. I think we're all meant to go through ups and downs, no matter who you are. I think it's about trying to realize who you are by just being yourself. I find that every day going through challenges, whether it be economically, it could be relationships, could have to do with trying to find a place to fit in socially. We all try to find success through others and acceptance through others, rather than focusing on ourselves, primarily by just loving what we do, creatively or just intuitively. You have to first know that happiness only comes from being happy within yourself before you could give it to somebody else and having them asking and seeking for your acceptance for them. Because at the end of the day, we're here trapped, only trying to build what is our own foundation. You can't try and make a mark for somebody else because they will not accept you no matter how hard you try. You just have to know that you are going to fail every time you look to please others. Every time you take a step into somebody's light, you will be blinded because their aura is all about self-seeking. It is not you being welcomed open-handedly. Because in this life, you have to give, and people accept. People want things. People are not just genuine. Can I be in your company, or can you be my friend? I'll accept you with open arms. It doesn't work that way. We are not programmed to just take people in and accept them for who they are. Some of us may have compassion and just realizing that we are all one and we're all human beings and we all have to feed and care for one another. But the majority of the world, the way it operates, is that you do for me, I do for you, and we both gain what is monetary, material things, wealth. Everybody wants something, and the only way to get it is through someone. So if you think that you have a friend who's close to you, a friend who you look at as a neighbor next door, or a companion and just sharing information, being close intimately with maybe somebody in a relationship, you feel it because you have the trust and it's there. You feel that they'll always be by your side, that they like you for who you are, and that you offer such stimulating emotion or your well-being to whatever extent. But ultimately, this is how we become manipulated. We give all of our trust to people who feed off of us only because they are self-seeking. And these people act as if they known us for all their lives. And that they feel that they can depend on our comfort. They can depend on our neediness. That they can depend on our goodness to serve them. And this is why I say that these are the definition of backstabbers. It is so true, but yet it is comforting to know that when you realize the truth, that people are only your enemies most of the time, then you can learn to trust yourself 100%. You have to learn that there is no system to follow. There are no rules that haven't been made which can't be recreated and turned into more of your own reality. How you live and how you serve and how you conquer is all within you. It lies within your soul. There is no book, there is no statute, there is no judicial system that can put a price on how you should live or set a limit on how far you can go. These are all concepts. These are all ways to divide you, separate you, make you feel like you need to be owned by someone other than yourself. There is just one moral rule, and that is, don't do unto others as if you wouldn't want them to do unto you. It's the golden rule. It doesn't come from a book. It's something that's sacred. It is the key principle to life. It is absolute truth. See yourself in the mirror and look at your face, not by how elegant you may look, or how unworthy you may look, or how you feel inside, but just look in the mirror and just see yourself as somebody who is dominant over all circumstances, all people's opinions, all philosophies. See yourself and look in the mirror and know that you're dominant by just seeing that I am. Don't judge yourself on the physical look, whether you think you're attractive or that you're somebody prestige. Forget about all material concepts behind what you think you are. What you were meant to be was somebody who was to conquer and to dominate in adversity. Forget about how you think that you have to be at a particular standard that somebody expects you to be in order to be successful. That's not how we have to operate. It is about looking yourself within and just doing it and thinking that if I fail, it only means that I have the chance to do it over even better the next time. That's what failure is. It is getting up. It is succeeding the next time. It's not looking at yourself that you can't ever achieve, that you will never be able to set out for what you want in life. You just have to know that the truth is within you. There's only one destiny, and that is to be enlightened. That is to see what is not self-seeking, but what we could receive through our chakras, through what we spiritually are aware of, by just being in the moment, by just seeing what is around us, being sensitive to reality, knowing that everything that we experience and that everything that we perceive that is of nature, that is all around us, that's happening in this moment, that is knowledge. That is true awakening. It is not something that you have to read in a history book. It is not a science. It is not something that you have to seek through somebody else's teachings. Not listening to a guru, not listening to a professor at school, not going to work and listening to your boss tell you that you have to be here at 9 to 5 at your job and you have to be self-committed to what the people at the top tell you. It's how you could just live and perceive with your own eyes. That is being the witness. That is how you find knowledge. That is how you find true inner quality. Just take a look around. Come across people every day, whether they're friends, strangers, family. Just know them for what you see of them. Don't judge or put opinions or labels, because all that does is put you in a box and have them label you, because that's how you perceive them. You have to start looking at things as just the way that they are and accept it. Just look at yourself and accept yourself for who you are. See yourself as a beacon of light. Whether this life offers you the wonderful riches that it all has to endure, that it may offer you in every challenge that you face and every time that you strive for something greater as far as wanting and possessing. It's not about having to compete. You don't have to look to the person next to you and try to overshadow his credentials to try to prove yourself to be worthy. You could just be who you were meant to be and just say what you want to say. And you could just live in the moment and feel free. And by expressing yourself, by doing what you love and acting the way that you want to portray yourself. Doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, what people label, what people say you are. people will see that you are yourself, that you are somebody who is true to who you are. And that is how opportunities come, when you learn to let go. When you let go of trying to be somebody, when you hold on to things that don't have meaning in itself, but that they're acquired through trying to be humble and trying to possess the certain quality and characteristics of just being and just having a humble attitude in life. And I'm not talking about specifically doing all of these things just for obtaining a result. I'm talking about just going with your inner wisdom of just feeling what you feel and being who you are, self-expression. So if you're angry in one moment, release the anger and don't hold it in. If you're feeling sad, release that sadness, that feeling that you have inside that may be drowning you in sorrow. Because your emotions are just the bodily feeling of how you feel in a moment, but that does not define you. So if a person says you're angry, or that you are miserable, or if a person says that you are not friendly or polite, you are not those things. It is just what you're expressing in the moment. I am being angry. I am being fearful. I am being resentful. I am being anxious. I am being happy. I am being one with whatever's around me. Whatever concept or philosophy you want to throw in there, that you want to put as a label, that's what you're being in the moment. It's not who you are. So when we learn to take those assumptions, when people make of us, when people call us names, when people try to judge us and they make us feel guilty, or they make us feel as if we're not supposed to be doing something that they don't want us to do, then that's how you have to turn each word, each assumption or criticism into saying that I am being, I am not, I am, to those questions. So this way, you know how you can move more fluently. You don't have to take people's judgments, and you don't have to say that this is what I am because they're saying it. Now, just talking about life. You notice how people talk, what is the meaning? What is the purpose of life? People say, how did we get here? And they're still wondering about death. They're still talking about suffering. They're still talking about all of these what ifs. And what does it really mean to really live? Well, these philosophical questions, the only answer that I have to give is that, think of it this way. You never had a choice being born. You didn't have a choice of who your parents were. You didn't have a choice much when you were growing up what school you went to. You may have had a choice of the friends that were in your classroom who to socialize with, but that's about it. You had no choice of who your teachers were. They just who they were. And the people who taught you, when it came to your everyday arithmetic or reading, science class, those were your teachers, and you had to either accept them or find a way to become rebellious and then create a situation where you were then labeled as somebody who is a problem. That's how either it was. But what I'm going to say here to you is that this life is a gift because you have the opportunity and you have the expression to feel love, because nature has created us to be one. While in this physical body we may age physically, we may go through sickness and illness, But yet there is a peace and there's a stillness that we all can endure, regardless of time or regardless of our physical well-being. It is our mind, it is our higher consciousness that is in us that can see beyond this wall, this body, that has all fulfilling and fundamental ability to express beyond this physical. It is by thinking beyond, and is by reaching and finding that spiritual center where we could just live and we can be in peace in every moment. Because we only have one life, but in reality there is no such thing as death. We have already conquered death, because when you see yourself as not being me, when you get rid of the I am, then you are not subject to just being a person. You are not just subject as being this human body, this living organism. You are a consciousness, you are awareness that is higher and beyond. And we can't physically perceive it in the spiritual while living in the physical realm. But when you meditate and you learn to just clear out the noise in your head, you clear out all the voices telling you since you were very young, all the conversions, conformities, all of the rituals, you learn to become one with your higher self. So learn to live life as if you have no expectations, that you are just living, witnessing, you are being. And whatever comes and whatever arises, you are that, the witness. This is how we learn to overcome our wants, attachments, our fears, our neglect, our happiness, our joys. We don't become any labels anymore. We just are the witnesses to what life is throwing at us. So I say, to end this video, you have to learn to just take chances, with yourself, with others, and you have to be freely, not attached to fear or the outcome of rejection or social stigmas or labels that people give you. But through being yourself and being 100% with every moment that comes and every situation that happens, you can learn to find enlightenment. This is Kevin, and I just want to say thank you. I am out.